Hey Liam, I'm Alex calling from the faction. How's it going, man?
Doing well, man. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Likewise, dude. Very nice to meet you. So I've seen Pridelands a bunch over the years, so I'm really excited about the release of Light Bends, man. How are you feeling for it?
Oh man, that's amazing. It feels surreal now.
Mhm.
But almost doesn't feel real yet. I think like we got the vinyls in the mail yesterday, and that kind of started to kick it in, and the reviews coming in is kind of making it seem real. We've kind of been sitting on it for a long time, so
Mhm.
it's kind of weird. I would have thought that I would have been heaps more excited, but I think tomorrow everything will really kind of kick in a lot more.
Definitely, yeah. It's
Def-
it's coming around. So I mean, I think it's going to be a massive release kind of thing. So I feel like you won't even have the chance to be excited. You'll just be overwhelmed in a sense.
I think well, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what's happening already. Like I think it's not kind of like I'm excited, but I think it's not really kicking in because I think I'm overwhelmed at the thought that it's actually going to be out, and I haven't really like that hasn't caught up with me yet. So one of those
It's
things I'm processing.
Well, because it has, I mean, it's felt like quite a long process for the debut album coming out, I guess, in the sense of like, keeping an eye on EPs kind of being released throughout the years. And like Any Color You Desire, was that 2018?
Yeah, that was May 2018.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of like a few years in between. So it has been a really hyped release in a sense. And I actually did the review for Hysteria Mag, and thank you for sharing it because I made some interesting comparisons. I didn't know how the band was going to take it, but man, some of the stuff that Light Bends reminded me of as an album were just incredible. Like it's really eclectic.
Man, thank you. I'm glad that you like it. Like I haven't actually had a chance to read the Hysteria one yet, I don't think. Oh
But
wait, no, I read the Hysteria one. That was the one that came out last week. That was
yeah.
amazing. That made me feel so good. That was
Oh,
the
dude,
first one
no.
that yeah, thank you. Thank you. That one was the first one that like really like that had started kind of all of the ones that had started coming out over the last like
Mhm.
couple of weeks. Like for the Australian ones. And like, yeah, that was the thing that made it start feeling real. And it was really like I read that review and I was like, oh shit, like why am I nervous now? Like it was a
That's
really
so
nice
cool to
review.
hear.
So I really appreciate that.
No, no, thank you so much, man. Because yeah, it was, as I kind of said in it, there's so many elements in Light Bends that, remind me so much of like film scores and some of, I suppose, like the background samples and driving synths and stuff. It's kind of got some really cool soundscapes.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. I'm glad you kind of picked up on that too, because I think that was, I mean, we had a lot of different intentions for the record while we were creating it, but I guess the biggest thing that was to make it cinematic. Like Joe's amazing with making sound, like doing sound design stuff like that, and just kind of setting a tone and like the way that we kind of where we kind of got to when we were making the production tracks, like other than the band instruments, it was kind of one of those things where we are like, we need to set this tone and we need to make it like a movie. It's kind of we wanted it to almost feel like it's a score from start to finish, and
Mhm.
I'm glad that you picked up on that because that was kind of one of the big things that we were hoping to achieve.
It was literally one of the first things that I kind of noticed, to be honest. Where like I love film scores. I love like John Carpenter and all the real synth heavy film scores. So as soon as they're kind of tied in
Yeah,
with like a backing track and then there's five instruments over the top, like it creates some pretty incredible results.
yeah, I feel like it gives a lot of depth. It really like it's the one thing. It's like when you're watching a movie, I mean, maybe a lot of people don't really think too much about it, but the sound is everything. It's creating that mood. It's setting all of what you're feeling, really, other than like along with the dialogue. It's so important to it. So like it was really important to us to make it happen.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's really cool how you guys managed to execute it. And like as well, just as a band. I mean, the first time I came across Pridelands, I don't want to even pretend to quote the year. It was Polaris, Justice for the Damned, Pridelands, and Ibalians. Up in
At
Melbourne.
Wrangler.
Yeah. I want to say
Yeah.
for the Guilt and the Grief tour.
Yeah.
And dude, that show was sick. But like, you know, as I kind of touched on in the review a little bit, I mean, like, your style has kind of become a bit more prominent in the Australian sound with, you know, some technical and djent riffs and kind of, you know, little glimpses of different genres kind of scattered in. And I kind of feel as if it's something that, you know, whilst you have been finding your sound, it's largely something that you guys have always kind of been going for in a sense.
I think so. I think maybe I think like to look back on it all, like I think maybe unintentionally, like with past releases and stuff, I don't think we've never thought as deeply as we have with in terms of like how deeply we thought with light bands. But I know that we've always been trying to kind of capture that same depth. And I think it's just kind of, it's a progression, I guess. So it's cool that I think that you think that's a common thread. I've never actually really thought about that. So,
well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's certain bands that you go back and revisit because they'll release an album and you're like, fuck, this is changing the game. And then, you know, you revisit an album from 2006 and you're like, oh, they changed the game then, kind of thing. Like, people just didn't realize. And yeah, you know, I feel as if you guys have constantly, you know, developed your sound and tried different things. And I know that Josh kind of went through a bit of a stage where he kind of fell out with his, like, wasn't as motivated kind of thing, and then has kind of come back around and feels a lot more freedom in writing and lyrics and things like that. So, you know, it is all that developmental stage, but I feel as if the core of Pridelands has always been there. It's just much more cohesive now, where, you know, Josh and Mason at times could be one vocalist, which is, you know, pretty incredible now.
It's crazy to think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And I know, because am I right in saying, Liam, you're one of like the core songwriters?
Yeah. So like, I guess I'm the core member. Like Pridelands is my baby. Josh joined not long after I started. It was like a garage band for a while, just rotating through people. Josh joined not too long after I started it, and Mason was not long after that. But it's always been kind of myself, Josh, and Mason first and foremost. That, like, it's always been us three. We're kind of the core members of it. But like, it's almost weird to say that. Like, I mean, we were the people that were there at the very beginning, but like, it almost kind of feels like with everything new that we release, everything new that we write, it's kind of like a rebirth and a beginning anyway. And having Joe and Deej in the band, I mean, they've been in the band since like the start of 2017 now. And
so quite a while.
And like they're essentially, we can't do it without those two either. Like they're the core. Like, it's every single member is like a core member, I guess, and that's how it feels anyway. It feels like we've been doing it with those two forever, and it feels like they were there from the beginning, because I think they kind of, in a sense, they kind of were there from almost like a second beginning for us anyway. They were the reason that we were able to keep going when we needed them most. We wouldn't be here without them. So
definitely. And, you know, I feel as if those 5 years kind of since the start of 2017 have been pretty pivotal years for Pridelands. I mean, you guys won the Unify competition in, was it 2019? I want to say.
Yeah.
Or,
2019.
And then, you know, now you're actually booked for the main stage at Unify, which is like,
yeah, it's crazy,
insane, man. I mean, congratulations on that as well. I know it just got postponed, which, you know, must be a bit frustrating. But how are you feeling for that show?
It is. I'm so excited. I mean, it was, getting the opportunity to play at once was more than we could have ever asked for. But like getting offered the spot to play again and come back is amazing. It's one of those things that like you kind of, I don't know. For us, it's like we have to pinch ourselves. I know that I do. It's crazy to kind of get opportunities like that, and it's like it is a shame that it's just been postponed. But I mean, that's for the best, I guess. Like
Really?
at this point, we've had every kind of postponing possible. So it's like it's what's
Yeah,
another
there's
two
not
months,
much you
right?
can
Like,
do. And I kind of
yeah, that's
feel,
it.
probably more so than any act on the bill for Pridelands, it's probably kind of lucky in a sense that it's been postponed 2 months after the release of the album now. So, you guys can actually go
Yeah.
out and people know the tracks, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it means we kind of get to change around some of the songs that we are going to play.
Mhm.
Hopefully, hopefully people know them by then. So yeah,
Well, it's
we'll
actually,
probably play a bunch of new songs. So.
so I was shattered in that sense. When I saw the set times, I was like, I knew that it was going to be a designated time slot, but in my head, I kind of just wanted your time slot to just be the length of Light Bends. That it's like, yeah, right, the boys are going out and playing the new album kind of thing. So as
Oh
soon as I saw it, I
man.
was like, fuck, a couple of songs are getting cut there, which is a bit of a bummer. And especially because
Yeah.
I'd love to see, I'm only from Geelong, so I'll definitely be coming to the next Melbourne show. But there's so
Sure.
many aspects on it that I just want to see at nighttime with lights and like
Yeah.
it seems like such a visual set. So yeah, I'm really interested to see it.
Awesome. Well, I think we've managed to squeeze 7 of them in. So
That's
it's nearly all of it.
that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, we've done all right. We're pushing it pretty close, but like I think we've managed to do that. So yeah, and I mean around like we're not sure yet. I mean things aren't announced just yet, but like you know, obviously with an album release comes an album tour, and we'll be playing the whole thing. So hopefully you can get to that.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'll definitely be coming along. At this point, I know it's in the normal world, you kind of can't say too much about unreleased tours, let alone in the COVID
Yeah,
world where there's a chance it's not going to happen. But at
yeah.
this point, are we thinking regional or like metro tour?
Um, so it will just be a metro tour.
Yeah.
Like there is a tour, but it's just not announced. So basically, there will be a metro tour. With there will be a regional tour towards the end of the year as well.
Mm.
And then I think a couple others around that. So we've got a really busy year.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, we're really fortunate with the way like it's a weird thing to say that the way that the pandemic has made us push everything back. It's been quite fortunate for us to line a lot of opportunities up. So so we do have a really busy year, and we will be playing a lot of shows, regional and metro.
Absolutely. And I assume after the set at Unify, there's going to be a couple of bookers in the crowd that, may not have come across you guys. So it's going to get even
Yeah.
busier, hopefully. I mean, you guys,
Yeah.
I see you're wearing a Resist top and you guys, recently got
Yeah.
signed to them, which is massive. Congrats on that as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So yeah, it seems like everything's been going that fucking sweet for Pridelands at the moment, but I know the next year is going to be like that gangbusters. So I'm excited for you, Liam. And yeah, I can't wait to catch you at Unify or the next Melbourne show, man.
Man, thank you so much. Come say hey.
Yeah, most definitely. And thank you so much for a chat. I'll let you go, man. But if you guys have tuned in late, I've been with Liam from Pridelands. Their new album comes out tomorrow. I've lost track of the day there for a second, Liam. Apologies. So Friday, Light Bends by Pridelands is out. Definitely check it out. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Take care.
Likewise.